believe these men, they're very, very clever in what they do. They manipulate these girls, turn them completely against the family.
The extraordinary thing is how the stories are almost identical up and down the country. An older boy takes interest in you, you're 12 or 13, he's got a flash car, he takes you to exciting places.
Girls get misled.
I was flattered by it first.
It's grooming which begins with friendship. You're adolescent, he introduces you to drugs, and soon he asks for sex.
And I start to touch you and say like sexual things to you, and then the abuse starts, and I was actually pinned down by 2 other men while he raped me, and there were other men watching.
These men are capable of anything.
There is a specific problem in some areas with men of Pakistani heritage targeting young white girls.
Then the drugs get harder. It's payback time, is the phrase that comes up again and again. And as a 13-year-old, you're staying out a lot at night, you're isolated from your family, you might be taken 100 miles away, and eventually you're told that in order to pay your drug debt, you've got to have sex with my uncle. And then it's another uncle, and then another uncle, and before these girls know it...
You start to meet the cousins and the brothers, and they start to get older, and then you realise that you've been passed out.
Seeing 5, 6, maybe more men a night. The girls aren't getting this money. What they're getting is the drugs and the attention, and if they try to leave, the threats.
With things like that, they bomb my house and they gang rape my mum and make me watch, and all sorts of things. They'll send you text messages and phone calls saying that you've got to come down now, and if you don't come down, then we're going to come and get you from your house. And then you don't want them to hurt your family, so it's like you're protecting your family. Anyway,
these men know how to trade on teenage rebellion and turn children against their parents. But these men also know the law and often wait until the girls are 13 before they have sex. The penalty for sex with a child over the age of 13 is more lenient than for sex with a younger child, which can be a life sentence. From the age of 13, cases are less likely to be brought to court unless the girl gives a statement to the police. Children rarely do that. After months of grooming, the men have almost total control over them.
Are quite terrified, and with right reason. We had a case in the West Midlands where a girl had her tongue nailed to the table when she threatened to tell. I worked with a girl who had her hair yanked back, her head pulled back, mouth open, with a kettle of boiling water held up her throat. You don't tell or run away if you've got a kettle of boiling water held up.
The first night we were being kept in Wally Range in a takeaway. It was great at first, we were just mates and they'd give us candelabra, ecstasy, cocaine, stuff like that. We used to say, no shag, no fag.
I met a group of Asian lads that went to the school, and my group of friends just started hanging out with them. And then gradually, well actually it were over at 3 months. You know, you go to meet the older ones and you hang around with them, and one thing led to another, and we met like the brothers or the cousins, and they used to come and pick us up in the cars, buy us mobile phones, give us money, buy us drinks, buy us cigarettes, beer, everything, you know, and we thought it was great because we were getting all these things that really we weren't supposed to have.
And how old were you at the time?
12.
I was just an innocent little girl who was having sex with loads of different men. I was taken to a flat and shut in a bedroom to perform sexual acts on different men. One would come in, do whatever he wanted to do, go out, and then another would come in. They were like a conveyor belt, and it was as though like, but it was easy to do it and then get home than to not do it and not get home.
Police have had success in breaking up gangs who've trafficked young women into the UK for the sex trade. And grooming of children by predators on the internet has rightly gained a huge amount of attention. But in most cases, those offenders never actually get to meet their victims. British girls being moved around the country for abuse that isn't virtual but very real has attracted almost no attention. The Home Office said,
"There is no evidence to suggest that internal trafficking is a big problem in the UK. It's a relatively new form of organised crime."
Hilary Wilmer is the chair of CROP, an organisation set up to help parents of sexually exploited children.
We've been working over the last 7, 8, 9 years with over 400 families, And of those families, mostly in the northwest and the northeast and the Midlands, but not entirely so, 96–97% of those 400 families are white. And in terms of the perpetrators, those gangs are in the vast majority from Pakistani Asian origin.
Asian gangs, specifically Pakistani men, represent a particular threat to young British girls today, which is not being confronted due to a misguided sense of political correctness.
Modern Britain has all sorts of taboos and unspoken things that people don't want to get involved in case they're accused of all sorts of unpleasant things. And people, for that reason, people are very careful about addressing things like this. And I would hope that people can realise that this is the very beginning of addressing very unpleasant things that are going on, but they have to be more than addressed, they have to be dealt with.